Are you suggesting, or are those that you've read and their research suggesting that there's almost a conspiracy to keep economic theory and economic pragmatism out of our schools, which results in a less educated voter?
In my opinion, the too many are so happy, so comfortable with their contempt for capitalism that they think they've finished their job. And I get back to my friend D'Alembert, who studied Lord Bacon. I don't think that the people who criticize capitalism, the immediate knee-jerk reaction is let the government figure out an answer. They don't take their time to study the alternatives within the capitalist system. And we're back to Hypo 1 and Hypo 2, and that's why...
Your hypothesis found in your book.
Right. That's why I claim I give it that important title of a logic trail, but that's why I feel that way.
Ray's book is entitled Democratic Capitalism, The Way to a World of Peace and Plenty. We're here talking with local author Ray Carey, and our topic today is about universities. And as Ray put it, universities do your job. Ray, where are universities doing a good job today, in your opinion? And in doing so, contrast that against where you think there are weaknesses that need to be improved.
I think they do a fabulous job, but they do it in a fragmented, specialized way.
What do you mean by specialized, Ray?
The integration of knowledge that the Enlightenment worked at, the integration of knowledge by John Stuart Mill, the integration of knowledge by Friedrich Hayek, by Peter Drucker, I don't think is done, because this is, you mentioned earlier, what makes me think I can connect the dots.
Yes.
Nobody told me I couldn't, and I had to take my best shot at it.
Wonderful,
but
sure.
I think we've learned more and more about less and less, and I think that has left this integration that puts the pieces together and validates the idea that it has to be a better economic system, and then studies and comes up with a consensus on what that better economic system could be and should be. And I think that's what is missing.
Do you think that our universities need to be fixed?
In that sense, I don't think they need to be fixed. I think they need an epiphany. I think they need an enlightenment too, if I can use that expression, which is to replicate what the 18th century Enlightenment did. They said, look at all of these protocols that work so well in science. We do test each level of generalization. We can go all over the world trying ideas, and some of them are shot down and some of them are refined. And you could do the same thing in the order of human affairs. What's the function of state? What's the nature of capitalism? And how should they interact? And I don't think we do that. I think
Yeah.
the universities those that could be doing it beautifully, as I said, have been, in my humble opinion, culturally conditioned all the way back to Plato, and they're quite content with having this supercilious attitude towards capitalism, if not practitioners of capitalism. And
right.
I think that just shuts the system down.
I want to go back.
I'm not, but
yeah.
one quote. I'm not.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
This isn't original. It goes back in history. Bacon started out when he lost his job. He looked around and he says, "My heavens, universities aren't training managers and leaders and all the things they need to know. Mm-hmm. They're locked into this Aristotelian scholasticism, and it's okay, but it isn't broad enough. They're only training ministers and priests." So he criticized the universities.
What sort of curriculum should universities be stressing today?
Anything that addresses these questions, and I would enumerate them in a minute. But can I?
We have about 2 minutes left in today's segment. In this
Okay.
in this particular segment,
We'll
but I would like you to see if you can get to that.
up,
Oh, you want to pick it up next time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to get my friend Adam Smith's quotation.
Yes, let's invite Adam Smith to our conversation. That's wonderful. Yeah.
He was a professor in the University of Glasgow. He was a professor of moral philosophy. But he said after he had gone to Oxford, excuse me, the greater part of the universities have not adopted those improvements after they were made and have chosen to remain sanctuaries in which exploded systems and obsolete prejudices found shelter and protection, and after they have been hunted out of every other corner of the world. In general, the richest and best endowed universities have been the slowest and adopted those improvements and the most adverse to permit any considerable change in the established plan of education. My argument basically is I think we're so close to economic freedom being able to do its job. We're so close, despite the present terrorism and violence, for economic common purpose to be uniting the world. And we were almost there in 1990. Countries all over the world were rushing into economic freedom. We've watched China and India take 500 million people out of abject poverty. But the United States has to lead in this parade, and it won't lead unless enough citizens are educated in the fundamentals of the good capitalism and the bad capitalism, and how do we get from the one to the other.
Well, it was just announced this week that China now is the #2 exporter in the world, behind Germany, and the U.S. is now the #3. So the world platform is changing, makes this a very cogent and important topic for people considering degrees or getting into colleges and universities. Real quick, if you were to go into college today, what would you study? What would be your degree specialty, or what would you study? You only have about a minute.
I think it would be history, but history that relates to the human condition. I mean, I think that's where the liberal arts student is fascinated with improving the human condition. The business school student is fascinated with maximizing profits, and the idea that there is a system that can fulfill aspirations in both schools would be treated with a little bit of ridicule, but that's what I truly believe, that both parts could enjoy that.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate you taking time again in this important segment. We only had a chance to just touch into the topic, but that's our goal with this series, to introduce you, our at-home viewers, with some of the fascinating topics that Ray calls his hypotheses regarding democratic capitalism. Thanks again, Ray, and to you at home. We look forward to our next segment with our continuing series on democratic capitalism with Ray Carey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.